Okay, here are all the touch points that you need to make sure that you can authenticate your Air Jordan 1 Spider-Man from the multiverse. Not the Prowlers, of course, but get these out so you can see them. This is actually a men's size, even though it's tiny. It's a size 5. And the numbers that I'll give you in this video are only for this size 5. Well, the dates may be similar to yours, but if you're going to be checking your shoes, and I'm like trying to unroll everything because the shoes are individually wrapped. So that's the first thing. If you get yours and you don't have two different wraps around your paper, then you probably got something that's not quite right. I'm going to sit that down and pull out this other sheet, and I'll take this shoe out just so I can make sure I'm on point. Your box. Anytime someone brings something in the shop and they're like, hey, I want to make sure these are good to go, I hit on a few things, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to hit on a few things that you need to check to make sure, because by now everybody's seen the shoes and there's not much for me to tell you any differently. The movie was fantastic. I did not, no spoilers though, so I won't say that. I wasn't expecting for it to end the way it did, because I was like, but that's a different story. We won't worry about that. That's the movie. One of the first things I do when I get the shoe is I touch it, but I got my close-up test, and I'm going to bring the camera up and show you the shoes close up. But one of the first things I'll do when I get the shoes is I'll tap them in the back, right? So I got it on a flat surface. The box is my flat surface, but I tapped them in the back. And that's because the fake shoes tend to be bowed. So when you tap them, they'll rock. It's almost like they're pre-worn in a sense. You get what I'm saying? They're pre-worn. So when you get a fake shoe, typically it's bowed. But a lot of the times now, the shoes are made so well, you can barely tell the difference. So I have very, very concise kind of checks that I do. And these are the checks that I would expect everyone to do. So looking at the shoe doesn't necessarily help you anymore. Somebody that says, oh yeah, those are legit, I wouldn't trust them with a 10-foot pole. You really can't do that anymore. The fakes are so good that there's a lot of the checks that people used to do that you simply can't do by just looking at the shoe. But I do still tap it. More importantly, this is like a hologram. If you saw the movie, you know exactly where this comes from. They did a fantastic job of creating a shoe and making it look exactly the way it's supposed to look based on the film. The tag is a little bit different than what you'll see on traditional Jordan 1s. You see how the tag is. But like I said, that's close up. Let's get to the stuff that we can check quickly. And I'm rambling, and I don't want to ramble. I want to keep you here, make sure you're on point. I go directly to the tag. So the first thing I do with my tag is when it does come in, I'll pull it down. But the great thing about the Air Jordan box is because it's black and its tag is white, you can actually see through it and you can see the chip that's behind the label. Now that's an RFID chip, and that's for the company to keep track of the shoes. Now, do they use that? I'm not sure. That's going to be something that Nike can only check, but you can check to make sure that there is a tag behind the label. You can even feel it on the Jordan box. It's very subtle, very subtle. But the next thing that I come to is my UPC code, right? And although I'm giving this one out and somebody could take it and use it, but the UPC code here is 196-150-079-604. There's a 14 at the end, but that 14 doesn't count. It's just an identifier. But when you get that UPC code, I immediately come to the shoe, open it up, go inside to my size label. Nike is great about this. Jordan brand Nike is great about this. They put the UPC code in on the tag. So I just read you the UPC code, and this UPC is only for the size 5 men's. Only for the size 5 men's, all right? So I'm pulling that back, and I'm looking at my UPC, and it has 2 zeros at the front, which we don't worry about, kind of like an identifier at the end of the number here. Those 2 zeros at the front, we don't worry about it. We go directly to 196-150-079-604. I look and check 604. I know that my UPC is correct. That's important. They have to match. The box UPC, the tag UPC have to match. Got that? Now, The next thing that I look at is my dates of production. And there's a reason I do that. Now, my small country code is XC. For those of you who are following along and checking on your stuff, the small country code is XC. And I go to the dates of production 07/28/22 to 11/25/22. Now, there's a reason, and it's made in China. There's a reason I give that 11/25/22. And I'm going to be moving the shoes out of the frame of the picture. I'm going to be taking my top off, and inside of the lid, right? Inside of the lid, you get a red stamp. Now, in some instances, it can be blue, it can be black. Typically, though, inside of the Jordan boxes, it's red, all right? And this red stamp, we have to look at it and make sure it's good because it's faded so much here. It looks like 12/17/22. So there's a B2212, B2212, 17, and then there's a Chinese character at the end. But that 12/17, it could either be 21, but there's two of them. There's 12/17/22. That 12/17/22. And I gave you guys the date of production on the inside of the shoe, which is on the medial side of the shoe. The date of production, I said, was 11/25. That's almost 4 weeks to the date. I really like for my stamps, my QC stamps, to be within 4 weeks. I like them to be within 4 weeks. But times are stretched now and things are a little bit different. So you getting QC stamps that are 2 months. You may have a 2-month window, but typically it does not go beyond 2 months. But that 11, what did I say? And I keep stumbling here. That 11/25 and this 12/17 is right on point. It's faded though. It is faded, and you can get some that are faded. That doesn't mean that it's fake or anything else. Now, those are major cues for me. The tap test for the back of the heel to make sure it's not rocking, right? The UPC check, right? The QC stamp on the inside. I'm going to read you guys the label: Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG SP. And the style code is DV1748-601. The color is University Red and Black. And like I said, this is a size 5. And I can see my chip underneath it. And that's a good thing. The paper looks a lot like the corrugated box where you have these lines on it. You also have this desiccant sticker down here at the end. And that's what that is down here at the end. And the box itself, as far as it being sturdy, I've seen some fake boxes, man, that are like super hard, but they tend to be a little bit glossy too. So be careful with that. But like I said, checking something for authenticity now, hardest job in the world because the fakes are so good. This does not come with a secondary set of shoestrings, no additional shoestrings. But I want to get to the close-up because at least I can show you the close-up and you'll be cool, you're happy. You're going to have some bends and wrinkles on your leather. And a lot of the times you'll hear guys talk about the leather is soft, it's nice, this is good quality leather. It's not good quality leather. This is coated with a polyurethane. It might as well be the same as this one little section of, what is it called? Patent leather that's right here, this pop, and the patent leather that's on this kind of hologram around the back of the heel. And suede is a rougher cut of leather. Don't get into this idea that this is premium build. Don't do that, because I have some shoes, man, that were constructed in LA by a company called Community Made, and those are premium leather. That stuff feels fantastic, man. But this is just generally, it's basic leather and it's coated. So what will happen is when I take these shoe inserts out, I will touch it to see what the flex of the leather is like. That way I can have a record and remember, but that's on the close-up. I'm going to get to the close-up so you guys can see that. Close-up. I'll stop rambling. Close-up. Now, everybody's seen the Spider-Man shoe. I don't have to show you that, but you need to see that the tongue is not like your average Jordan, which typically has a symbol and the patch that kind of goes over the tongue with the words on the back of it, right? Where you have the tag where this is the registered trademark and it's all along the top of it up here and it goes over the top. This shoe, the Multiverse shoe, is not like that. It's not like that, okay? So don't think that it is. You're going to have a slight tap where you can rock it here, but not much. But at the heel, you should not have a tap. If you have a tap, more than likely it is going to be a bootleg. Or it's somebody that's worn it and they've already kind of moved the last around. All right, you know what I'm saying? So I want to touch this up close so you can see what the wrinkle is like under it. And there's no wrinkle here. So if somebody's like, yo, it's not wrinkling, that's not soft to the touch, that's not the Jordan 1 leather that you usually see, it's a fake. This shoe does not wrinkle under your touch. All right. The red, however, does. The red does. All right. The red leather here. Now, the suede, of course, it doesn't. The patent leather will not. The patent leather around the collar of the shoe will not. This material is not going to. This is a coated kind of leather print. Same thing at the heel, which the execution on this, I apologize for the camera shaking. I hit it. The execution on this shoe is fantastic. When I went to see the movie, I was like, my gosh, they nailed it. And I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. I know the market is kind of, closed down on resale, which is a good thing because you can get these once they restock. Every time they restock, you should be able to grab a pair. And I don't necessarily think things are going to go back up the way they used to be all of this time. But I wanted to make sure I gave you a look at this so you can look at the different leathers or materials on the shoe and get a really nice look at it. And that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. No extra shoestrings on this one. I will see you guys on the next one, and I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the station. It helps a lot, and I'll be doing a lot more of these videos. See you guys on the next one. Peace.